All right, good morning, everybody. It is currently about 10 minutes to 7 on Sunday, March the 24th, here at Redneck Rantings, and we got us a brand new rant. Um, it's been a couple of days since I've posted the last one. I'm going to try to do these like every day or every other day. I was going to try to do one once a week, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can't up the frequency a bit more, or at least do it as often as I find stuff to frankly tear off about. I want to talk about this granny kicker video that is making the rounds. And I'm just going to let you know in advance the word scumbag is going to play a major, major role in what I have to say about this piece of human garbage. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of who the granny kicker is, this is an individual. I'm not going to use the word man. I'm not going to use the word person because I really don't consider somebody who kicks a 78-year-old woman in the face when you're a big strapping dude like I am, a human being, okay? For those of you who aren't aware of this, there's a guy in New York City who was caught on camera on a New York City subway punching and kicking in the face while wearing work boots, or what appeared to be work boots from the video. Excuse me, a 78-year-old woman. And then cheering about it. It's like, yeah, world star that, bitch. And when the guy stands up, you can see that he is not a tiny individual, okay? I don't know the guy's specific stats, but based off of what I'm seeing in the video, this cat looks to be at least, 6 foot something, 200 and change. And he's standing over this woman, just punching her in the face and the head. And then he stands up and he just very methodically, very mechanically kicks her multiple times in the head. And the part that really, and if that ain't bad enough, the other part that really bugs the shit out of me is that literally nobody intervenes. All right. The New York Post just did an article on this. Apparently, the shithead's been arrested, and good. Turns out that the victim was a homeless woman. She'd apparently been sleeping on one of the bench seats on the train, and apparently people who've known her in the past know her to be mentally ill, and apparently she's had a few issues with being a bit aggressive. However, there's no evidence that she was aggressive with this individual in this particular video. I personally, due to my disability, have to ride public transit and have to ride particularly the Minneapolis-St. Paul version of what amounts to the subway. We call it the light rail here. It's the blue and the green lines. And I'm typically riding these trains at hours when you get some pretty sketchy characters on them. And so I am well aware of the fact that homeless people using the trains as shelters and as a place to sleep is a perpetual problem in any metropolitan area where you have this particular public service. And I am fully sympathetic to anybody who is irritated at wanting to sit down on a train and you can't because some homeless person is stretched out. Now, the nature of my disability is that I have PTSD and I have fucking panic attacks. I've almost thrown up as a result of being unable to sit with my back to something, okay? So, on the one hand, I'm sympathetic to being irritated with somebody wanting to lay down. On the one hand, I'm sympathetic to somebody who comes onto the train and they just want to get to work or run errands or whatever. They want to sit down, and there's some indigent individual stretched out taking up a whole bench seat. That does not excuse what this shithead did. This motherfucking wretch. This living example that it is possible to conceive a child via anal intercourse. This woman was 78 years old. She's female. You are a big-ass, strapping, apparently fairly physically fit-looking individual. And I'm not going to link to this video because it's way too fucked up, and I do not want to get a strike this early into the channel. All you have to do is just do a search granny kicker video. But there was no need for this level of violence, okay? First off, there was no evidence that she attacked you. He even says, well, yeah, she was pissing me off. She was stretched out and she wanted other people to move. So move, dickhead. I've got a neurological disorder that causes my brain to try to kill me if I don't sit with my back to a wall, okay? And those bench seats are the ones that I typically medically need to use, and they're the ones that the homeless people typically take up because you can stretch out on them, and they basically get used for cots. And if I can do it without resorting to violence, you fucking can, all right? Second off, now I've never been to New York City, so I've never ridden their public transit, but I'm willing to extrapolate based off of what we have here in the Twin Cities, that there are probably emergency call buttons on these trains. I know that on the green line and the blue line that we have here, there are these emergency call buttons. And you push the button, you say, hey, somebody's getting violent, there's a medical emergency, there's somebody tweaking out, and I'm kind of concerned. I actually had to do that myself back in February, and I'm probably going to do a video about that. There was ways for him to handle this. If he wanted this woman dealt with, there was ways for him to handle this that did not involve him physically assaulting a woman who's damn near 80 years old. I'm just going to do a quick link. I'm going to do a quick click here. Where is that article? Here we go. Sorry, just a tick here. My computer is a little bit slow because I've got way too many friggin' windows up. All right, let's take a quick look here. Yeah, this happened back on March 10th, and yeah, this is a pretty substantial looking cat here. This is yeah, she was homeless and lying across the seat and wanted all other passengers to move. Is his public defender's excuse? You know what? Fuck you. If you want to find the link to the article, I'll actually post a link to the New York Post article in the description. I don't think that'll get me a strike. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't say anything specific about his specific size. All right. But you can take a look at the picture of this asshole, and you can see that this is a pretty large individual. There is nothing to indicate that she attacked him first, okay? Now, I understand as somebody who rides the public transit that occasionally you encounter violent individuals, all right? I've gotten into physical altercations myself with these people. I've gotten into shouting matches. Back in February, I almost had to pull a gun on one guy because he threatened to shoot me. If somebody physically comes at you, if somebody puts hands on you, you do what you have to do to be safe. But if somebody's just being a pain in the ass, you grit your teeth and say, you know what? This person is irritating me, but I'm an adult. We live in an adult world. It happens sometimes. Find another fucking seat. Do not engage in felony assault on a woman just because she happens to be annoying you, okay? She's 78 years old. She's female. She's got issues. You don't do this, all right? I really hope this prick does hard fucking time for this. And I don't consider that a violation of my religious principles, which dictate that I'm not allowed to wish bad things on people. This is just me saying I hope the wheels of justice do their job and justice is done on this woman's behalf. She's obviously a member of our more vulnerable population, and this guy is obviously a predatory shithead. So that's that. The other thing I want to rant about is I want to rant about the response of the bystanders. Now, I realize that don't get involved is damn near New York City's unofficial motto. I understand that they more or less invented the idea of bystander non-involvement. Y'all motherfuckers need to be ashamed of yourselves, all right? You stand around filming an aggravated assault and oohing and eyeing while a grown-ass man beats up a defenseless little old lady. You're cowards. That's just it. You're cowards, and if you had any self-respect at all, you just remove all the mirrors from your house so you didn't have to look yourself in the face anymore, okay? I would not be able to live with myself if I had seen this, okay? And I understand that this may have been a very frightening situation for some people, all right? And I understand that our society has conditioned us, frankly, to be mice, okay? Don't get involved. Let the authorities handle it. Don't put yourself in this other situation. And I also understand that there are some very good street survival reasons for not throwing yourself into this mix. First off, like I said, this is a big guy. Second off, he's in the process of demonstrating a willingness to commit violence. Third off, you don't know what this guy has, okay? He might have pepper spray, he might have a stun gun, he might have a blade on him. Even though New York City has some of the most draconian anti-gun laws in the country, he might be walking around strapped. He might be able to shoot your ass. So I can understand a certain measure of reluctance. It shouldn't matter, okay? In a situation like that, you see a grown-ass man just hammering away on some defenseless little old lady, you step your ass up. And I realize that I'm kind of getting into a gray area where it sounds like I'm recommending vigilante justice. I'm not. I'm not suggesting that you go out actively hunting bad guys. What I am saying is that we're all neighbors. We are all in this together. We all live in these cities and these towns in this country. And if you see a bad person doing a bad thing to a good person or a defenseless person, you try to step up. I got all the respect in the world for the person who actually, sent the video to the cops. At least they tried to do something. But these other bystanders, you grab the guy, you pull him off, okay? You put a hand on his shoulder, you put a foot behind his foot, and you just throw him down to the ground. And you say, that's enough. And you do it after you call 911. You do it after you hit that emergency button, okay? You get on there and you say, hey, conductor, get the cops on here now, man. There's a guy beating the shit out of a little old lady, and I'm going to intervene. Okay? And then you throw the guy down. And you know what? If you take a few lumps, you take a few fucking lumps. Okay? You step up. That is the contract. We're all in this together, okay? And I'm not suggesting that somebody who can't defend themselves effectively should do this, but somebody should have stepped in, okay? And yes, I realize that some of you watching this may be going, well, Bob, it's real easy for you to run your mouth from your living room in your house. I don't see you out there doing this bullshit. Well, you know what? Fuck you. A couple of years ago, I did. Okay? In fact, it's part of the reason why I wear these gloves. You see these tack gloves? I wear these tack gloves specifically because of an incident that occurred on the light rail when I was coming home from doing laundry one day. These 5 individuals, 17, 18 years old, chased this one girl onto the train that I was on as I was coming home. And the girl's like, hey guys, I don't want to fight. I don't got to beef with you guys. Please leave me alone. One of them knocked her to the ground and said, well, look, bitch, you either fight us here on the train or you fight us on the platform. It doesn't matter. And there was 5 of them. There was the girl. There was one of me. I stepped in. I'm not trying to make out like I'm some sort of badass. Okay, I took a couple of lumps. I got some marks on me. My glasses got a little bit fucked up, and these things are expensive. But I stepped in and I said, you leave her the fuck alone. She said she doesn't want to fight. Whatever beef you've got with her, you take it somewhere else. Leave her alone right now. And unfortunately, this went down too fast for me to get on the emergency call button. The ringleader made the mistake of poking me in the face. And I knocked their ass the fuck down, okay? And again, I don't think I'm a badass. I don't think I'm some MMA beast. I was just a guy stepping up for somebody who was outnumbered and needed help, okay? I don't think I'm a tough guy. I've gotten my ass kicked at least half of the time when I've gotten into these fights, when I've gotten into fights on the street. It's part of why I try to avoid fights, because I realize that I'm not, going to be signing up for the Avengers anytime soon, okay? I'm not Batman. But this person poked me in the face. I knocked them the fuck down. And their friends jumped me en masse, okay? It was like a bunch of rats hitting hitting a piece of unattended fruit. And I wound up fighting them off, and I took a couple of lumps. I got dinged up a little bit. I lost some hair because one of them grabbed me by the hair. I got a bruise under my eye. My glasses got a little bit messed up. I hit one of them in the face so hard that it actually bruised the back of my hand, which is why I wear these tack gloves now. And you deal with it. And I dealt with it. And somebody should have stepped up. And that's a big part of what's pissing me off here, is nobody stepped up. Nobody verbally intervened. Nobody physically moved in to prevent this large, physically fit individual from assaulting a 78-year-old homeless woman. Okay? Now, if there was video of her pulling a knife on him and making a lunge for him, and he used force to defend himself, well, hey, you do what you have to do to prevent yourself from getting hurt. But he could have sat down in a different seat. He could have called the conductor. He could have done any number of things that did not involve him assaulting this woman. And the fact that none of the bystanders intervened as well really is a major failing of our society too. Every single one of these people should hang their heads. I really hope that this guy does time. I really hope that the people who sat there and did nothing have enough self-awareness to reflect on their actions a little bit and go, you know what, I should do something different next time. And I really hope that if you are watching this video and you ever find yourself in a situation like that, that you step up in some capacity, okay? I'm not telling you to go out there and get hurt, go out there and, I'm not saying go out and form a vigilante squad. But if you're out there and you see somebody being victimized, I really do hope that you have the physical and moral courage to do something to stop it. Because like the man said, the only thing that is necessary for evil men to triumph is for good men to do nothing. All right? There's bad guys and there's good guys. We're the good guys, and we outnumber the bad guys by a big fucking margin. They're just used to having it their own way because we've been conditioned to letting them roll over us. That's all for now. Sorry this rant went on a bit longer than I intended it to. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell button for future notifications. I'd also like to thank my whole 6 subscribers. I hope there's a lot more of you in the future. I'm not going to ring the cowbell this time because my wife's trying to sleep and she's got all the guns in the bedroom. And yeah, that's it. I will see you next time. Peace out.